Alright, this is the aftermath from yesterday. So to be able to tow this thing out of here, we're just going to throw it on a pintle hitch. I'm going to try to see if we can't get the bed off. If not, no big deal, but I'm going to see if we can't find a spot to store it until the buyers come to take it. But that would also be nice because then when I put the pintle on, because the truck's probably going to sit like this far away, so we won't really have that much of a turning radius. But if I get rid of the bed, I'll make the turning radius so much nicer. I also got to get that spare tire down and whatnot. But as of yesterday's video, we did find out that the leaf springs on a two-wheel drive as opposed to a four-wheel drive are actually 2 inches shorter. So today we're just going to take the new leaf springs and the old leaf springs and put them together. So it'll actually up the capacity as well, because we'll have a four-wheel drive leaf pack with the overloads of the 3500. So I think everything pretty much from this truck has been transferred over to the other truck already. So, you know, transmission, the rear end, the suspension, a bunch of interior parts, just a bunch of everything has been transferred over. I'm going to try to get the carpet out today at some point, get the door panels off. I'd like to see what we can do with the dash. But it's all coming together pretty good. So definitely glad that I bought this thing. I didn't realize how much of my stuff was broken until I started tearing this one apart. Anybody that knows how expensive these lights are? Apparently these lights are like $70 for one from the dealership. That's kind of insane. But here is the other axle laying over here. My locking rear video is not up yet from yesterday for me, but you know, this is where it's at. I have to find a way to get rid of this. And whoever does take it, I would definitely recommend getting those perches welded. They've been fine for me. I've been running them like that for years, but I would definitely recommend getting it done. The brakes are all brand new. The e-brake's new, but for some reason I can't figure out why. It never wants to stay working. So, I don't know. I gave up with it. That e-brake out there in the truck now is absolutely insane. I put it up on the top of the hill up there and I just hit the e-brake and it actually stops now. So I'm not even gonna mess with it. It is perfectly fine. I gotta tear this down and burn that. It's the old sleeper setup, so it's some mold on it from sitting out in the rain. There's one fender. Told you guys I'd clean it. Look at that. A little bit of spray 9. Comes out pretty good. Alright, started tearing things apart that I need. My passenger side battery tray, I broke one of the nubs off. So I'm grabbing that, grabbing the grid heater solenoids and wiring, just in case I ever want to put the grid heater back on, like I was going to do with this truck. Fender's clean. I'm going to get everything unbolted. I got all of the AC lines because I think I do have a small leak with mine. I grabbed the negative terminal over there. I didn't realize that there is actually 3 grounds on the negative battery, so I'm going to swap out what I have for this, and we're going to use this. So the only terminal that has that multi will be the positive. I did try to save these last night, but they kind of break, so whatever. Not a big deal, but yeah, I'm going to get the fender and all that off. May see about saving this and grabbing the wiring for the radio. I was gonna try to save the windshield, but I was told I'd probably crack it coming out, so not a big deal. AC condenser, intercooler I'm definitely not gonna use, but there's a bunch of stuff in here that, you know, is definitely coming in handy, and glad I bought it. At some point, might try to save the dash, pull the dash out of this thing. We'll see. We're slow and steady. Bunch of stuff in here. Like, I gotta filter through what's trash, what's scrap, what's not. A couple of things in here that, you know, I could probably stand to keep. So, like back seat carpet. I wouldn't mind grabbing the carpet, but I don't think I'm gonna put it back in. Alright, here's about where we're at. Got the cab lights set aside because those are sold. I gotta ship them out sometime this or next week. Both fenders are off. I'm gonna save. I will reuse the visors just because, but I'm posting stuff now on Craigslist. Fenders $350 or best offer. I got a lot of the headliner stuff out. Fenders off, bumper off. Who wants bumper? $150. AC compress, anything to do with the AC I got. So I'll be able to add some grounds now that I got all this stuff off. Debating taking the hood off or not, but now I should probably replace mine. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if I do that or not. But I gotta get the doors at some point. We gotta figure out how to get the bed off, especially if I'm gonna pintle it out of here. So, and then the rest of the stuff like trash, I'm gonna be separating in a big trash pile. All right, so here is my old springs here. You guys can see 4 in a leaf pack, and they're longer. They're about 2 inches longer than these 2-wheel drive springs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this whole assembly out one side at a time. We're gonna get rid of the 3 in the center and the 2 spacer blocks on the bottom. So I didn't want to do this, but we're gonna reverse level it. And this, you can see the little bit of gap here, and then you come over here and you can see this huge gap. So 2-wheel drive springs are shorter apparently. So let's get them pulled out. Shouldn't be too easy. It's the airbags and a couple of bolts, and then 2 bolts. All right, so here's your differences. Okay, if you set them up side by side, you can see that this one is definitely longer. So what we're gonna do, take the overload, take these 2 on top, get rid of these 3 in the middle, add these 4 in the middle, and then all good. So we even have the centering pin, which is nice, factory. I had to custom make one back in the day, and it actually worked because I took this truck in for an alignment multiple times and they always came back perfect. So what we need to do, get these bolts off, separate all of this, and this, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. This one shouldn't be so bad. I'm not sure how much tension is between all this, but yeah, let's get these bolts off. All right, so it was pretty easy to do that. Aside from these bolts here, had to cut them a bunch of times to get the threads right. Bottom spacers gone, overload, 4 in the middle. So basically the height will be determined by all of this. So what it was before was 4 and 1 spacer. So the suspension that I had, so this will bring it up probably about, you know, yay much. So we'll get this drop back in, and then we'll do the other side. There is the 2-wheel drive leaf pack, and you can see that, you know, 4 leaves is better than 3. Second leaf pack is done. Here's the other one. So there you go. All right, so this could not have come out any more perfect with the bags dumped. Look at this, okay? You guys can see here. Look at the back, perfect height. Not too low, not too high, with the bags completely dumped. So basically, for anybody that missed it, what we did was, here's the 2-wheel drive. So the 4-wheel drive has an added one of these. We added 1 overload on the bottom, got rid of 2 of these spacers that were on the bottom. There's a spacer on the top in between, but anything above this shackle, which is this top one here, does not affect ride height. So we put 1 spacer on top, and then the first overload, a second small tiny spacer, and then another overload. So that's basically how these are as a 3500. So now we officially have a 3500 suspension, and look at that, it's on the overload. The bags sit straight. The camera makes it look like shit. My brother actually sprayed fluid film on this last night. It's not actually like as dirty as as shitty as the camera makes it look, but you guys get the point. So we're sitting on the overload instead of a bottom spacer. All the bolts are tight. We are good to drive. The problem I was having last night when we put the old one in, you guys can see, look how nice and center that axle is. It was pushed forward about 2 inches, so the wheel was sitting right about here. And the problem with that is anytime you would hit a bump, now I didn't personally feel it, but I could see it when my brother was underneath, is when he was on top jumping on it, you could see this was physically pushing itself inside. This seal was even, like this was like here. So it was just about bottoming out. So kind of crazy. So glad that's over with, but aside from that, it is officially done. So now we'll see how this thing rides with a 3500 suspension, reverse leveled. And I've been getting a lot of the, why didn't I swap everything into over this truck? And there's really two huge reasons why. Because I get this question, I might as well just answer it for you guys. One, black. Two, solid front axle. I don't want the independent front suspension. I really don't. I've seen too many people get in accidents and it literally totals the truck, because what ends up happening is the independent front suspension gets smashed and bowed, and it basically, you need a whole new frame, whereas on a solid front you have a little bit more of that give. So that's one of the reasons. And two, I did get a comment on, you know, if I would have just thrown everything in this truck, I could have been done in a weekend. That is super false, and anybody who's done a 12-valve swap on a 3rd gen and done it correctly will tell you that that is complete bullshit. This truck has years worth of stuff that I've done to it. I would have to switch everything over to that and then find a way to bring the front end back up, because with this bumper it would sit way too low, and it wouldn't work out the way that people would think it would. So that's kind of why I do this. Also super important, I'm literally just doing this because I enjoy it, and regardless of what anybody says, I am just basically out here just enjoying my life. I film it, I get paid to do it, and it's great because, you know, for the most part, even though YouTube hasn't paid the most in the last 2 months, all last year I didn't pay any bills with any other money besides YouTube. So like, I think I made probably, I think it was like 23,000 last year on just YouTube's ad revenue. That was enough to pay the bills for just about the entire year minus the first 3 months. So I don't think that's super bad. I don't know. It's something I enjoy, and it allows me to not have to worry about pretty much anything. Now, one of the things I do get this concern a couple of times. Why am I not out running? Why am I doing repairs? Which I'm not really doing repairs. I'm just kind of doing things that I enjoy doing. I just like to wrench on shit and do my own thing. But the thing about it is, have you guys seen the fuel prices? Okay, I pay $320 a month for insurance. That includes 1 million cargo, 1 million liability. Yes, you heard that correctly. I have a 400-mile radius. I have a really, really good driving record. And that's why ultimately I don't worry about it, because for me to run in Pennsylvania, it literally costs me $300 every single day I fire this truck up to go and take it out. Whereas I net more by making these YouTube videos. Literally, like, even though the gross number isn't as high, the net take home is just way better. So that's kind of why I've been doing, like, I kind of took the time to say, hey, let's part this thing out, let's do this and that. Basically, that's mainly the reason why. Dude, fuel prices, it's like $4.73 for diesel in my area, and it's only going to get worse. It really is. I'm not going to go anywhere. I do plan on coming back next week and doing a full rack of loads after some money hits the account. And basically, I'm going to try to run the account down to 0 as fast as possible and make as much money in that time as possible. So kind of going to go and see how fast I can run the account back down to 0, and then see how much I can, you know, what my actual net is from that. But yeah, the numbers aren't going to be super impressive just by the net. Like, if you want the impressive numbers, it's like the gross, but even then, I'm not making the most money out here, and that was never the plan. But I'm still trying to do that double your income challenge. So this year we do need to hit $260,000 one way or the other. Whether or not I set myself up good for next year or whatnot, we're going to figure it out. So, all right, just got to pull the rest of the parts off that people were ordering, and I got to get that stuff shipped out. I am also working a deal with the shop owner. My dad owns this place here. We're kind of working out a deal. So if anybody needs any, like, you guys have seen the videos I do on the diesel work. Anybody that I've done work for will tell you absolutely that I take my time and I try to make everything as perfect as possible. But I am doing diesel work in, you know, the Shermansdale, Pennsylvania area for $80 an hour. If anybody is interested, saves you a lot of money. We quote off of whatever the actual job time is, and you bring your own parts, whatnot. We try to get it done within a day or 2 and give you your truck back. If it's a bigger job, it takes 2 days. If it's a, you know, small job like a turbo or something like that, then it's a day. Figure I'd let you guys know that we are doing everything in our power to make sure that income is still flowing while the fuel prices are stupid high. The Turnpike is like $100 some. Here's what we got. I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up a while, but here we go. Pintle hitch. Love these things. I'm gonna keep this in handy if I ever have to tow like trucks from the back or something. You basically just take the wheels off of an axle, put that up at its highest point, bada bing, bada boom. I would like to get an adjustable one at some point, but these work very well. No different than pulling a trailer. We'll have to lock the steering down and probably pull the bed off so that we can get a little bit more clearance. I'm gonna talk to him about it, maybe throw the bed upside here and go store it somewhere. Besides that, I do have a couple of engine bay things to do. We have a passenger side battery box, some battery cables, and we also have the grid heater wiring, which at some point I will probably end up putting the grid heater back in. I do not have one right now. Next motor will probably end up, next motor, that's what we'll do. So we'll get all the wiring in and everything. You guys can see right there is where it's supposed to be. When we get another motor for this, it'll come with a grid heater, and we will absolutely do the grid heater. We're also going to get rid of this battery terminal, put the factory one in it. We're keeping this one. Like I said, I was saying this one is going to stay. Over there, I may replace that one as well with one of these, but in the meantime, I really do like this on this side at the very least. But there's supposed to be 3 grounds. There's only one, so one's supposed to go up here, and then one is supposed to go down on the frame, but I don't remember where. I think it was on the inside, so I'm gonna get that swapped out as well, make it super easy. All right, here's how she is sitting, and then the truck over here, no squat at all. We got the new battery terminal on with the new grounds. Also got the new battery box over here with the grid heater lines. Everything's hooked up over there. Obviously, it's not gonna work because it's gutted, but when we do find a new motor, we'll get that taken care of. So that's done. I think pretty much kind of done for the day. This truck's ready. I want to see if he wants to get this pulled out or if we just leave it in here for the night, because we'll be back. I got to do an oil cooler tomorrow on a 2nd gen Dodge. So both fenders. Oh, Liam, why are you locking doors? Liam locked the back door, I guess. There we go. So both fenders in here. Those are not spoken for, but all in all, so I gotta grab the steering wheel. All right, everything is strapped down. We're up here. Tomorrow I gotta haul Josh's little red Dodge. So we're gonna have to use the trailer. So I'm gonna have to clean all of this out tomorrow and throw a lot of the trash away, figure out what to do with the seats and whatnot, because people keep wanting to buy the driver's seat, but not like the whole thing. So I have really no idea what to do. Please somebody buy the seats. I really don't know what to do with the seats. But besides that, like this is going to get thrown away. These are going to get thrown away. Probably going to throw away the intakes because nobody cares about those. We do have some dash pieces. We'll be going and towing his truck tomorrow. We're going to tow it here. We're going to do an oil cooler on it, hopefully, because I don't know if he did it right the first time. So hopefully it is the oil cooler. I don't know if he did the torque specs right and it's just leaking again. I mean, it's kind of suspicious that it's doing the exact same thing after replacing the oil cooler. So I do think that it might need a head gasket, but that is a lot of oil and coolant mixing to be a head gasket, I would think. All right, guys, so that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to go down below in my Amazon affiliate links down below. Go buy something. I get a kickback of that. Also, go check out Mudflap down in the description. Go check out Mudflap. You get $10 free fuel. I get $10 free fuel, and it'll be a good time. So, yep, we got one of the body panels cleaned today. We need to get a little bit more spray nine, and then I can start cleaning off body panels and whatnot. We got pretty much all weekend to do whatever, and then I'm going to start trying to book loads on Monday. So fuel is just absolutely terrible. It literally costs me $300 every single day I want to run. It's like 100, high hundreds on the fuel. And then also if you want to throw in the Pennsylvania Turnpike, I'm always on the Turnpike. So hope you enjoyed. See ya later.